Look at my new amazing machine that I've just bought at Alexander Palace Stitch and Craft Show. And if I just show you, look at that. This is for the neck binder, and this is another extra feed for the cover lock. That's working on the cover lock. And this obviously is our baby lock store. So I've just had a complete demonstration on this overlock. It's just amazing. It does absolutely everything that you can possibly want it to do. And I'm going to have so much fun making lots and lots of stuff. And hopefully everybody joins in on the journey with me. It's so exciting. Okay, this is Lily's fabrics. This is at Ali Pali. Amazing fabrics. Really, really good price. What is it? $6.95, $7.95 for high-end quality cotton. And I paid $12.95 for some jersey that was really, really beautiful. But amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Just thought I'd give them a shout out. Okay. Hi, it's Gwendolyn at Lifestyle Sew. I've got these on. I just thought I'd jump in here before we do a sewing video, which hopefully I'll try and get out in the next 2 weeks. It's been a little bit difficult due to the fact that my niece came from New York and then she stayed here for a week. I took a week off work with her. We tried to get her a flat in London, and that is all sorted out. She's a high-end interior designer, and she needed to, and she just got basically a new job in England. She's come to England after 30 years, so it's all exciting to do that. I'm down hers next weekend. Oh no, this weekend I'm down my daughter's in Surrey, which I go to regularly. Then the following weekend I'm down hers. It's all crazy at the moment. It really is a little bit crazy trying to, and I work and I just can't do everything. But and doing sewing videos takes a long time to do for me, and then to cut the videos nearly all day. It really is a long process because I have to cut so much out of it, otherwise it would just go on forever. I mean, the video, you know, to make a dress and things takes sometimes days to me because I'm sorting out this and doing that. So anyway, you know what it's like. It's very hard to do sometimes. But I thought I'd jump on because it was the Stitch and Fibre show at Ali Pali, and for the Americans it's Alexander Palace, and everybody knows it in the UK as Ali Pali, because obviously reasons saying Alexandra Palace I should say. There's my northern accent coming in every now and again. Fabulous day. A few touchy moments, but really, really is a nice day. Now I go in the morning. It's it's quite small, but it has all the major players, if you like. But it's quite small. Ali Pali itself is very big, but they do have some different rooms. You have a craft room. I'd booked in for 2 lessons in the afternoon to do something, which ended up a disaster. We'll come back to that. And then in the morning, you've got the big room that sells all the fabric, the wool, and all the machines. Then you've got another room that sells all the little tiny things. It might sell wool that make little animals, and jewellery, and all sorts of different craft things, really, like that. And then obviously in the hallway, it's got all the quilts hanging up as you go in. And then they have a totally separate room for all the classes that they put on. So that's basically the layout. So I always go in the morning, because if you go at 10 o'clock, it's basically naked. There's very few people walking around. People are just starting to come. And you've got that really until lunchtime. And then maybe after 1 or 2 o'clock, you'll start getting a lot more people come in, and by the afternoon it can be quite crowded. So the evening lot that come in, obviously that's most people are going to finish work and come in. It's probably going to be quite busy, but I'm always blessed because I like it where it's quite, you can actually see things rather than fighting to pay for things or fighting to try and have a look at things and things like that. And I specifically went there for another serger, which I bought, and I will, it's a Gloria serger by Overlocking, and it's a combination. And in the States, it's called Triumph, but in the UK, it's called Gloria. So I was able to secure that, and I also bought, you know, a couple of things that I know would be beneficial to me, like a new cover stitch foot. It's a very thin foot. Want to go round curves. That's for that. This is the double bias binder. That means it folds on one side and it also folds on the other side, so there's no raw edges at all for you. And does that open out? I don't know if you can just see that. Now, 48mm double bias binder, and this is going to be for necklines. So, and I bought from Lily's Fabrics. It's called Lily's Fabrics. I'm actually going to put a little bit of footage in. Look at my new amazing machine that I've just bought at Alexander Palace Stitch and Craft Show. And if I just show you, look at that. This is for the neck binder, and this is another extra feed for the cover lock. That's working on the cover lock. And this obviously is our Overlock store. So I've just had a complete demonstration on this Overlock. It's just amazing. It does absolutely everything that you can possibly want it to do. And I'm going to have so much fun making lots and lots of stuff. And hopefully everybody joins in on the journey with me. Price, what is it, $6.95, $7.95 for high-end quality cotton. And I paid $12.95 for some jersey that was really, really beautiful. But amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Just thought I'd give them a shout out. Now this is the high-end quality cottons that I bought. These are really, really high-end quality 100% cottons that I bought for quilting. So that is, so I bought a yard of each and then 2 yards of one of it. And then obviously I will find things as I go along to add to this stash to make up a nice quilt later on. And then we had, from that, I bought, I think, 2 yards of this one. And that could make a nice shirt for the summer. Or it could be quilting cotton, depending, you know, what I want. And this is all from Lily's, by the way. This is all from Lily's, so I went crazy. I also bought some jersey. Now it is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a dark green with feathers. In real life, it's actually very pretty, very pretty. And of course, I like to buy some plain stuff. So this is plain knit, and it really is like a cotton knit. It's extremely good quality. This is not a cheap sort of knit. It looks like you could make a jacket out of it, but I wouldn't. This is for a cardigan, or I may use it to actually make my top that I'm going to make next. And then anybody who knows me, I love colour. I love fabrics that have got vibrance. Look, I'm all sitting weird. So I went to the African store right on the way, just before I left, and bought some African mussels. I just love African fabric because I used to work and live in the Far East many years ago when I was young. And although that's not Africa, just and come home with all the different designs of different fabrics and outfits, and I used to wear them. You said, what the hell she got on? couldn't care less. Or fitted skirts, fitted little tops, like, you know. I did look very different. So, yeah, so, you know, they give you their little brochures and things. I don't know if that's back to front, actually. Yeah, it probably showed back to front, that, didn't it? But, you know, people just trying to earn a living. And she had some beautiful designs. But I also do knitting. And so I did, I went into, they had a stall where it was, it costs you nothing, this. You just book a time. So if you've got a problem, like you don't know how to do slip knit, if you don't know how to do something in knitting, you just book a time. They'll sit there and they'll just show you. You don't really need to book a class, because when you book a class with knitting and they show you a specific thing, you're in a whole class, and you can get swallowed up a bit. But this is outside, and it's for all the, you know, the manufacturers of the wools, or a lot of the big ones, put it that way, put in a certain amount of money to try and basically promote knitting and all the rest of it. And she sent me, so ukhandknitting.com, this is the UK shop guide. I got a brochure of the shop guide. So if you're not in the shop guide, then you need to contact them and try and get in the shop guide for maybe next year, because this is just an amazing little booklet with lots of information of quality wool and of people in the UK. So it's obviously a UK guide for doing the knitting. Now, so I said I'd give her a shout out for that. Now, another thing was I booked 2 classes. Now, when I went to the first thing in the morning to buy the overlocker, I don't know anything about baby lock. I mean, I researched it, but I didn't know anything how the machines work. And they work very differently than other machines, or seem to. And but the machine I bought is all singing and dancing, so it threads automatically, and it threads the needle threader automatically. You know, you just press a button and the air sucks it through. So I was there for a little while getting demonstrated, and then in the afternoon, before I came home, I went to the class for the knitting, Fair Island knitting, stranded knitting. And I have no idea what went wrong, but there was like 20 people in this class. It was quite a full class. But when I first came, there was 2 people standing outside the front of the class, and I thought we were I thought all of the other people were going to leave and we were going to go in. They said, no, we're just waiting to see if anybody drops out. I said, okay. So, the teacher said, you know, sit down. And I went, okay. So I sat down, pair of needles, and you pick 2 little coloured bits of wool. And I was right at the front, sitting on a table with somebody else. And then she said, you know, it's, she gave you little graphs, 2 graphs, each is little graphed. And I think it went up to 8 stitches, or maybe 6 stitches high. No, it must have been 8 stitches or something. Maybe it was 6 stitches. I don't know how high it was. It wasn't very high. It was like a little square, so maybe it was 6 inches. And then another little graft, and the whole idea is you knit these little grafts, and she shows you how to do that. Now, bearing in mind, I can do this. I only took this class, in all honesty, full disclosure, for something to do. Because I've been hand knitting for years. For years. And but I haven't knitted for ages. So I thought to myself, oh, that'd be just something fun to do. Oh, was I wrong? I was totally wrong. And I kept on having a giggle to myself. You know, when you're on the verge of breaking out into absolutely uncontrollable laughter and you need to hold it back. It kept on happening. These waves kept on happening to me, because no matter what I was doing with this stitch, and I couldn't get it right. It's only 6 stitches. I thought, well, why aren't I getting this right? It's and I knew there was a problem. And everybody was putting their hand up and getting her attention, and she was right at the front, and she was running out and I said, you know, I put my hand up and she'd run past me. Well, I'm right at the front, so I thought, okay. So then somebody else did it, and I put my hand up and she'd run past me again. I mean, this wasn't just 1 or 2 times. We're talking a serious amount of times before this kept on happening. So I put my head down and start to try and do my knitting again. And then we had a break and she talked about something else. And okay, so then I put my hand up again and she ignored me and went to somebody else. Well, the woman sitting next to me, I think she was Dutch or something like that, looked at me. And I looked at her, I went, clearly I haven't got the right face. And I just smiled. I thought to myself, what is going on? What is going on here? I had no idea. So she comes back and she chats about something else. And she's got all her books on the table. Clearly I looked like I wasn't going to buy anything, maybe. It's maybe that's what I looked like. So there's no, what's the point of giving you in my time of day, because I hope everybody's taking something for the class. And I thought myself, I've took nothing from this class and I've spent, what is it, 20 quid or something, and I'm no better off now than I was when I came in. But the second, so then I put my hand up again and she was gonna go to the back of the to somebody else. I've had enough by now. I've absolutely had enough, because, you know, this woman, I thought it was just me to start with, but when the woman next to me gave me sort of like the look, really? You know, she should have, what's going on there, sort of thing. I then felt obliged I had to do something about it. So when she went, excuse me, I just need some help. And then she had to come, because she was literally next to me, because she was at the front, so she had to. And she got a bit flustered. And she was, so, oh, you've missed a stitch off, you've done this, that and the other. It's, that should be 5 stitches. That should be... Well, that's what I'm asking. What am I doing wrong? Not that you're assuming you know that what I'm doing wrong. It's, I went, okay. She said, but you've got 6. Oh, you've got 6. It's... I don't know. Whatever it was. So then she's... I went, okay, do that. I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to get any... Clearly, you know, this is not going to work out. So she went off that, and then she did her little sales spiel about the books, and lots of people buy the books, because you know what it's like. You know, I'll sign your book for everybody thinks, oh, I've come for the day, I'm going to get her to sign my book. I've bought that book. But I didn't, and quite a few other people in the class didn't buy any books, and pushed them back. Oh, why don't you buy any books? And I thought, I looked at, well... Anyway, after the class, I got up and went out. I thought to myself, that was crazy. And I couldn't stop. Well, as soon as I left, I could not stop laughing, because I thought to myself, that is the weirdest experience that I've ever had going anywhere. Because normally everybody is really helpful to absolutely everybody. I mean, it wasn't necessary. I don't know what was going on there. Like I say, I think it can only be the fact that I showed, maybe I had an aura about me that I wasn't going to buy anything, so why waste the time? It's, but wow, that was, and then I had to wait. I was going into what is it? Another class, to do the overlocking, and that was hilarious. But I had to wait 30 minutes, so I went out, went around, and that's when I found the African fabric and came back. And on that, you go into the class, and this is the guy's running this class, a lovely guy, and but there's just too many people for him. He couldn't actually teach you anything. He was a terrible teacher. He was a terrible teacher, and I think that's what made it so funny, because he was so nice, but it was just terrible. And unfortunately for me, I just had a quick run through with the overlocks or baby lock myself, so I had a good idea, and I'm a quick learner. When it comes to machinery, I'm quite quick. So I sat down and I had a lovely. The girls were lovely. They were really lovely, and the lady next to me was really lovely, really bubbly, and
we would have ended up the best of mates if we were being closer, lived closer. She was really lovely, and then he sort of introduced himself, and then went off and did something over the other side, and then came back, and then he said, well, I'll show you how to do it. So we all went round to him, and I don't know how he demonstrated that, but it was nobody was really any the wiser when he finished, because he was like, oh, I can't, this is not working. I don't know why that thingy bob's not working. It should be working. Oh, it was working yesterday, but it's not working now. It's, oh, I don't know. And so we sort of like all thinking what's going on. Anyway, so we got the gist. I got the gist of what was going on. So I went round to my thing, and the lady in our machines were already threaded up. So we thought, well, there's no point cutting the thread and rethreading them. It's already threaded up. Let's see how we go. So they did come to a stage where we had to cut the thread and rethread it. So we were us two were you know, okay. We were doing everything, and nobody else could get the gist of this, what was going on. And then this lady in front who had no idea, because that's the whole idea of these classes. Sometimes you have no idea. That's what you want to know. Is it worth you buying a serger later on? And so she didn't know the first end of a serger, and most people in there didn't. And I said, do you want some help with that? Because he was over the other side. She said, yeah. So I went round and I gave her, I said, look, you know, you do this. Make sure you put your fabric over so it serges a nice edge on it. It's not a sewing machine. You don't need to have it butted up to go along. It needs to be over. And most people didn't know that, because you don't know anything unless somebody else tells you. So I did that. Well, of course, that started then somebody else saying, well, do you know how to do it? Well, okay, we'll do this. So that started, you know, a roll-on effect. Well, I knew nothing about these machines. Not really. I was just sort of like, just because I'm a bit technical with machines, so I said, well, I don't know. And then one lady asked me, you know, what does all these buttons mean? I said, well, actually, I don't know. I don't know what the buttons mean. I just know if you press these buttons, this is the design you get. I just know that if you press all of those buttons, that you're going to get this width. Now, I do know all of that on my faff, because I've got a faff serger, and that also does cover lock. So I know all of that on that, and I could tell you exactly, you know, differential feed, this is does blah, blah, blah. But I don't know it on that. I'd have to learn, because it's got loads of different buttons. And you've got to know, is that the stitch length? Is this not the stitch length, or whatever? I just knew that if you put it on these settings, that this would work. And then all of a sudden, this card comes out for something, gets passed along over to us to show us how to. But what's the point of that? We're going in a class that you're meant to be showing us to do. I mean, anybody could have think, oh, I'll get a card and have a look at the card. We can all work that out. Or not. Because sometimes they have instructions on the machines. Well, I can never read what the instructions mean on the machines. What does that mean? I don't know. Sometimes you have to go on YouTube and find out how to read whatever they are. And then it's okay. And then if you've got years of experience, then you're fine. But if you don't know nothing, then it's... but he was so nice. I mean, me and the lady next to me, we were just giggling, because it was... He was like Monty Python. It really was. I mean, it was worth going in there just for that. I mean, it really was. It was so funny. And but I think people in the end, you know, they got the gist of what you needed to do. And but if he hadn't been so nice, it was just all over the place. And he was a tailor. Apparently, he was a tailor. I don't think he's not from. He clearly can't be from Babylock. He's obviously independent and been brought in to do that, because some of the things when you asked him about the machine, he should know those machines inside out and back to front. And the lady that was teaching me how to do my Gloria on the stand knew everything. You know, she knew, and I was asking, you know, direct questions. Because, you know, when I'm buying something, my mind goes into business. It's fact. I only deal with facts. Is that work there? Does this do this? Does this do that? How does that work for that? That's how my brain goes. And so I can be a bit abrupt, but I'm not meaning to be abrupt. That's just my way. Just It's just how I work. But that was, oh, that was hilarious. And it was a lovely, lovely day. And you forget how Londoners are too, because when we came out of Ali Pali, oh, I took my trolley this time, because when I went 6 years, it was absolutely freezing. I had loads and loads of bags. I waited at Welwyn Garden City for 45 minutes for a train connection. Oh, it was a nightmare. I didn't enjoy the experience coming home at all. This time I took a trolley, put all the stuff in the trolley. The only thing about a trolley is when you go upstairs to the toilet, you've got to lift it up. It's not like a suitcase where you can put the handle down and pick up the suitcase thing and go up. You have to pick up the whole trolley to go up. That was a bit awkward. But apart from that, it was fine. But then as you came out of Ali Pali and I was coming down the steps, and clearly I was struggling. One of the bus driver at the bottom came straight up. It's all right, babe. It's all right. I'll sort it out for you. Don't worry about it, babe. I got it. It's all right. It was lovely. He puts it on there. You just sit here, babe. Put your feet up there. There you go. You got it. Oh my God. That was topped it. It was really nice having somebody really all the bus drivers were like that, by the way. They were all very, very helpful. So that was really nice. So we had a fabulous day. Came out, it was really, the weather's warm. So I got off the train, and then this time another train driver, I just went over to the next platform literally, and I was home, more or less. Welwyn Garden City changed, and that was it. It was, I thought, oh gosh, that was quick. My niece couldn't believe it. You've had a short day. Well, actually, I haven't. I did everything that I needed to do, and I had a fabulous day. So I just wanted to share with that, because it's easier to make a video like this, sitting down and just running through what you're going to do or what you haven't done. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.